Can a single individual truly shape the spiritual trajectory of society? To answer this, consider the profound influence of an 8th century Indian Vedic scholar and divine teacher, Adi Shankaracharya. Born in the year 788 in the small village of Kaladi, Kerala, Shankaracharya's life and teachings would leave an indelible mark on the spiritual landscape of India and beyond. In an era where spirituality was in discord, the divine intervened. As legend has it, the gods and rishis pleaded with Lord Shiva to restore the world's spiritual balance. As a response, Lord Shiva agreed to be born into this world. The chosen vessel for this divine incarnation was a childless Nambudri Brahmin couple, Shivaguru and Aryamba. Shiva offered the couple a choice in a dream, to have many sons of ordinary intellect or one son with extraordinary wisdom but a short lifespan. They chose the latter, paving the way for Shankaracharya's birth and his destined role as a spiritual luminary. As a young boy, Shankaracharya sought a guru who could guide him on the path of sannyasam, a monastic life. His search led him to the ashram of Govinda Bhagavatpada, a disciple of Gaudapada, a renowned philosopher of the Vedanta school of thought. Shankaracharya's keen intellect and spiritual insight found expression in his commentaries on the Gita, Upanishads and Brahma Sutras. These texts are the bedrock of Vedanta Shastras, and Shankaracharya's interpretations offered a harmonious reading, grounding the teachings in a system known as Advaita or non-dualism. His commentaries faced rigorous scrutiny from teachers and scholars of various schools of thought, including the sage Vyasa himself. Recognizing Shankaracharya's brilliance, Vyasa bestowed upon him a boon that extended his life, allowing him to continue his spiritual debates and teachings. Adi Shankaracharya's influence extended beyond his writings. His journey, known as Digvijaya Yatra, took him across the length and breadth of India. Engaging in debates with scholars of various faiths and philosophies, Shankaracharya emerged victorious, further cementing his reputation as a spiritual authority. He also initiated the tradition of the Chardham Yatra, a pilgrimage to 4 sacred sites: Badrinath in the north, Rameshwaram in the south, Dwarka in the west, and Jagannath Puri in the east. Shankaracharya's legacy was not confined to his lifetime. His disciples, including Sureshwara, Padmapada, Hastamalaka, and Anandagiri, carried forward his teachings through their spiritual works. He established places of spiritual wisdom in the 4 directions, each a haven for seekers of truth amidst natural splendor and serenity. In summary, Adi Shankaracharya's life, teachings, and impact reflect the immense potential of a single individual to shape the spiritual discourse of a society. His interpretations of Vedantic texts, his debates with scholars, his spiritual journeys, and his establishment of places of wisdom all serve as testament to his profound influence. His legacy, like a ripple in a pond, continues to spread, touching the lives of spiritual seekers across the world.
Why does Adi Shankara hold such an esteemed place in the history of Hindu philosophy? What made his contributions to Advaita Vedanta so significant? Let's explore these questions together. Adi Shankara was a prodigious intellect, considered by many to be the greatest the world has ever known. His life and work had a profound impact on Hindu philosophy, introducing a revival of the teachings of Advaita Vedanta. Born in the 8th century in Kerala, South India, Adi Shankara showed extraordinary intellectual prowess from a young age. He left his home at a tender age to study the Vedas, which are the primary scriptures of Hinduism, under the guidance of his guru, Govinda Bhagavatpada. In his pursuit of spreading the philosophy of Advaita Vedanta, Adi Shankara established 4 mathas. These are monastic institutions that served as the pillars of his philosophical teachings. Each of these mathas had a specific focus on one of the 4 Vedas. The first of these, Dakshinamnaya Sri Sharada Pitham, was founded on the principles of Yajurveda. This was followed by the Dvarka Pitha, which was based on the teachings of the Sama Veda. Then came the Jyotirmath Pitham, which focused on the Atharva Veda. Finally, the Govardhan Matha was established, centered around the principles of the Rig Veda. These 4 mathas were strategically located at the cardinal points of the Indian subcontinent, forming what is known as the Chardham. The Chardham reflects a deep connection with Lord Vishnu, who is said to bathe at Rameswaram, meditate at Badranath, dine at Puri, and retire at Dwarika. Adi Shankara's disciples played a critical role in carrying forward his legacy. Among his many disciples, 4 stand out for their contribution: Hastamalaka, Padmapada, Totaka, and Sureshwara. They were the first pontiffs of the 4 mathas and played a crucial role in the preservation and propagation of Adi Shankara's teachings. Adi Shankara's teachings revolved around the concept of Advaita Vedanta, which advocated for the unification of the individual soul, or Atman, with the Supreme Soul, or Nirguna Brahman. He emphasized the existence of one Supreme Being, Brahman, and explained that the 5 supreme deities are part of this one divine power. During a time when Hinduism was fragmented into various sects, each claiming supremacy over the others, Adi Shankara provided a unified vision. He purified Vedic knowledge, teaching discernment and instituting the worship of deities as different forms of the one God. Adi Shankara's life, his disciples, and his teachings have left an indelible mark on the landscape of Hindu philosophy. His emphasis on Advaita Vedanta and the unification of the soul with the Supreme Soul continues to inspire and guide millions around the world. The 4 mathas he established stand as a testament to his profound wisdom and continue to preserve and propagate his teachings to this day. Through his life and work, Adi Shankara truly embodied the essence of his teachings. See the self in everything and let go of the knowledge of differences.
Of the identity of his self with the universal self. They embody the ultimate spiritual goal of Hindu philosophy, the unity of the individual self with the universal self. Finally, the Vana, who has transcended the snares of desires and resides in a forest. They represent detachment, having overcome worldly desires to reside in the solitude of the forest. In conclusion, each type of sannyasi, from the ashram to the Vana, represents a unique path to spiritual enlightenment. They embody the diverse ways in which one can seek and attain spiritual wisdom, each with their unique characteristics. The significance of sannyasis in Hindu culture is profound. Their lives and practices are testament to the diverse paths to spiritual enlightenment that Hinduism offers.
The world is unreal. Only Brahman is real. The world is Brahman. These profound words were spoken by Sri Shankara, a philosopher and theologian who transformed the spiritual landscape of India. Born in the 8th century in Kaladi, Kerala, in a humble Brahmin family, Sri Shankara was a precocious child with an extraordinary thirst for knowledge. His father's death at an early age led him to renounce the world at the tender age of 8 and seek spiritual enlightenment. As a wandering monk, Sri Shankara studied the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, and the Brahma Sutras, the 3 fundamental texts of Vedanta philosophy. His relentless quest for truth led him to his guru, Govinda Bhagavatpada, who introduced him to the concept of Advaita Vedanta, or non-dualism. This doctrine asserts that the individual self and the supreme self are one and the same, obliterating all distinctions between the divine and the human. Sri Shankara's interpretations of the sacred texts have been preserved in his commentaries. His commentaries on the Brahma Sutras, the Bhagavad Gita, and the 10 primary Upanishads are masterpieces of spiritual wisdom and philosophical insight. His text, Prashnottara Ratna Malika, is a jewel necklace of questions and answers, a guide for seekers of truth. His Viveka Chudamani is a crown jewel of discrimination, a handbook for those seeking to distinguish the real from the unreal. Sri Shankara was not only a philosopher, but also a poet. His hymns dedicated to various deities like Shiva, Vishnu, Ganesha, and others are imbued with a divine fervor that touches the heart and elevates the soul. One of his most popular compositions, Bhaja Govindam, is a poignant reminder of the transient nature of human life and the need for God consciousness. Sri Shankara's teachings are encapsulated in the concept of Atmabodha, or self-realization. He urged his followers to realize their own self, to cross the boundless ocean of samsara, and to establish themselves in Brahman, the essence of all existence. His philosophy of Advaita Vedanta has had a profound influence on Indian spirituality, shaping the course of its history and evolution. In his Nirvana Shakam, Sri Shankara asserts his identity with the Supreme Self, transcending all worldly distinctions and attachments. He declares, "I am not bound by death or the fear of death, nor influenced by the rules of caste and its distinctions. I have no father or mother, nor do I have birth. I do not have special relations, nor friends, a spiritual teacher or disciple." In summary, Sri Shankara's life was a beacon of spiritual enlightenment. His teachings of non-dualism, his commentaries on sacred texts, his hymns, and his emphasis on self-realization have left an indelible mark on the spiritual landscape of India and the world. His life and teachings serve as a guiding light for all seekers of truth, urging them to transcend the illusory world and realize their oneness with the Supreme Self.